Dude, what the fuck is going on with our audio, you guys? I don't know what the hell is going on.
I don't hear it.
I don't
I
hear
have
anything
monitors.
either, so
I wonder if it's mine because my mute does nothing.
Somebody just muted.
Can you hear
Was
me?
it Jose?
No, I haven't touched my
I'm
mic.
hearing
I
the
am
fucking
currently
cricket,
muting.
that's for sure. Yep. Yeah, it's bacon. And then I hear the cricket on Jose's stream.
I asked Chance. He doesn't hear it.
I haven't heard the cricket.
I didn't when you left.
Professional podcast here. Can't even get function. Patreon.com/nerdchat.
Did you start a Patreon or you didn't tell us?
The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast.
Is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days.
Hosted by a group of best friends. If you'd like to find out more, visit nerdchatmedia.com.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy D. Wally here, and welcome to the Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast. Celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. I'm arguing to please make Battlefield great again. Bacon is not happy because I told him I'm thinking about switching to PS5 Pro. We'll talk about that later. He is just going to lose his mind.
Go for it.
Guys, this week we're going to be talking about Battlefield, the future of Dragon Age, Mass Effect, the Capcom Spotlight, maybe Stephen Ogg and Trevor, tariffs and video games, and coming to Game Pass 2024. Joining me as always is Spider-Man 2 is dope. Chipotle Bear, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I was telling Bubble Boy before we started here, it's been a crazy long week at work. Like I usually get home with plenty of time to like have dinner and get ready for the podcast. And like tonight I got home at like literally 7 and, hung up my kids and wife. And literally like then I was getting on here. It's just been a crazy week. It's been fun. It's been very busy, but not a lot of time for gaming. Thankfully, this past weekend I got some time and I got to play Spider-Man 2. We'll talk more about that later. But I'm enjoying it, man. I have a couple concerns. They're small. But other than that, it's been really fun. It's also been an interesting week for us in terms of podcasting because we may be public enemy number 3 on a couple of.
We have been clipped.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
And also joining us, speaking of getting clipped, he got clipped and the internet is out to get him. He still doesn't have a 5090X Bacon Gaming. How are you?
Yes, it's been a full calendar week of me refreshing every retailer multiple times a day. I don't know. Not sure I want to buy this thing now. It's pretty frustrating. But shout out to Nicola. He's a notorious PlayStation guy who clipped us and put us on Twitter last week. That's when you know you have arrived. But I do have a little TED Talk for everyone. Gaming is not that serious. Now, I don't have a problem with Nicola. Did what he did. But it's the guys who follow him and ran out and pulled your stats and had to tell everyone that he's only got 300 gamer score in his Forza.
We'll get to that in a second.
It doesn't tell you if you're a good racer or not. It's just stupid.
We'll get
Because
to
I
your...
can hit all the signs makes me a good racer. I never claim to be a good racer. But people just can't play with the console wars. They got to get serious. So, shout out.
Shout out. When everybody plays, we all win. Am I right, Bubble Boy? Hashtag. I'm not even going to say it because the Chiefs are going to win me $3,000. Bubble Boy and 7, how are you?
So you should say it because you want them. You genuinely
Okay, you're right.
don't want them to win
Hashtag
at this
Chief
point?
City. Hashtag Chief City for Bubble Boy.
God,
Yeah,
please no.
there you go. So that's all you gotta say. Andy Reid confirmed no matter what, he's coming back next year. So that's
They're going for the 4-peat. Everybody, listen to me
the
right now.
3-peat,
Put
the
your
4-peat.
money down right now for the 4-peat, like me, and we'll all laugh at the bank.
And then huge shout out to my nephew Jax, man, if he's listening out there. I was told he might be listening. Jax, we might not talk a whole lot of Switch tonight, but if we do, we're thinking about you, my friend. So,
Every day.
Shout out. Speaking of shout outs, Jose, let's jump into Xbox shout outs. And when I say Xbox, I mean Nerd Chat shout outs. First shout out is to myself, of course. These
We'll
are
see
the
that one on the
yellow
list.
shoes, Jose. These things are straight fire. The light's kind of making the green not look as good, but trust me, Eric in the chat, what do you think of my New Balance basketball shoes? Here are the New Balance yellows, and then Jose was not a fan of these gray ones, but he said they're growing
The
on
original
him.
picture you took did not do those justice, by the way. They look
He said I looked like old man New Balance basketball shoes. So first shout out is to New Balance. I'm making the switch, you guys. I was telling the boys earlier. Nike Permaband. Their shorts keep falling apart, specifically right in my center groin area. Jose has the theory it's because of all the gas I pass in them. I don't know. Either
I
way,
don't know if
these
they're rated for nuclear air clouds, brother. That's all I'm saying.
either way, these shorts should not be falling apart so quickly. So make sure to follow my X account to see the shoes. I'll tweet a picture of those. But for real, we've got a lot of shout outs. And Jose just wrote one in here. This was to
Your groin is toxic.
This was from the short about Forza Horizon. I can't say it. I'm sorry.
why don't we get a Sony game? Sony and Nintendo are slowly killing off the meaning of an Xbox exclusive come 2028, and we are going to be drained of our games, and they won't budge in the slightest. And that was coming from Static, the artist. Yep, Xbox is dead. We'll talk more about that later. And then for real, speaking of another shout out to one of Bubble Boy's favorite fans. Shout out to Dreadman719. Yes, I know it's D. Redmond, but I'm calling him Dreadman.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks for the controller recommendation, guys. That deal for the Elite was a slick deal steal. I decided that if I'm going to sweat, it's going to be with a mouse and keyboard. And the Elite just feels comfy for RPGs and such. Cheers all. So shout out Dreadman. Dreadman, bad news. I returned my Elite. but for the price, I still have it. I already have one. I got a secondary one,
Yes.
Dreadman. I have my Elite. I use it all the time. This was a backup one. I love it. And Pro Strat, this is the paddles you want to do. You want to have them facing down. I think if you flip them, they're supposed to face turn down. Like Jose has a different formation down there. I prefer top
interesting.
ones and they aim down. That's my Pro Strat. And I'm sure Bubble Boy is different when he had his.
That's how I have it. But now that I've gotten used to the Razer, I can't go back to not having four
Are you going to
paddles.
give him your paddles?
So both he and Cordy Morgs, because we talked Cordy Morgs into one as well. The same deal from Target.
Dude, great
they
deal.
both got then some sets on Amazon
For like
$10. Dreadman actually got he spent 20. He got the scuff ones that fit on that controller.
Yeah. Sometimes they say they're good.
Yep.
Yeah, some people like those.
Yep. And then Court just got, I think, some red ones. So
I got the Scuff 2 right here, second favorite. Speaking of controllers, I might as well just show you guys. I went out and I got the Razer Elite V3 White Edition. I've got the white. This is a first look at the white
That just
edition.
released, bruh.
Just came out. We're going to have to do a short on this, boy. I was planning on it earlier. Keep your eyes out, guys. I'm going to be comparing all of these Elites in an upcoming video, right?
was like,
Let's
when
see.
did they
Can
have
I
a
even
white
hold
one?
all of them?
It just came out.
Jose,
kids,
can you get
literally this week.
Jose, can you make a Jose, can someone screenshot this?
Yes, I will get you a screenshot later. Got you.
All
Mark it
these
up right
Elite controllers, all for comparison.
Dude,
Dang,
Wolverine
man.
is going to change your life, bro.
it is.
I gotta say, immediately, I love the mouse click. These triggers,
Yes.
are pretty dang good. These might be the best feeling triggers. Bumpers,
My only complaint is you only get the 1,000 hertz pulling when it's wired. instead of
yep.
wireless.
It's not very good.
Who
uses
Not very good. What do
It's
you
not.
250 not
What's
good?
his face? I can't remember. He does the reviews. I like the top pedal placement. I wish you could remove the bottom. I feel like this is just going to get in the way.
You're going to use the bumpers up top more than
I like the mechanical buttons. A lot to say, you guys. So I did get the Razer. I still think it's a little nubby. Like I don't feel like it's long enough down here, Jose. I don't feel like
You're
it's
used to that.
Jose. I'm not. I wish it was a little longer down. That's what she said. So I will be making a video comparing the three. So keep your eyes out for that. I'm very excited to try it tonight.
All those controllers in it. Remember the timestamp?
Yes, I did.
You're still doing shout outs.
Good job.
Exactly. And speaking of shout outs to Freight Conductor, This was on our last episode. Podcast games are severely underrated. That's part of the reason why I still play Destiny 2. I can totally quit whenever I want. Freddie Conductor, I completely agree. I love listening to podcasts. I was telling Bacon last night I wanted to quit. He's like, you don't want to hang out with me in the Discord? I was like, Bacon, I want to go listen to a podcast.
Left.
But Freddie Conductor, I can't agree with you're still playing Destiny 2. That's
true.
just crazy. Just absolutely crazy. And shout out, speaking of we're getting clipped here. We got clipped by Nicola Libero 93. I don't know if that guy was trolling. But Gran Turismo players would absolutely destroy Forza guys, especially the Horizon ones.
He's absolutely right.
So,
Wait. To which Bacon responded, thanks for watching, Nicola. Don't forget the part where I champion putting Xbox games on PlayStation. But seriously, thanks for watching, LOL. And of course, I logged in and liked everything. And I actually responded to somebody on X that clipped Bacon again and was talking trash. And it was actually a pleasant conversation. I just talked to him like a normal human being. So, chat, I'll get you here in a second. Bacon, what is your response to Nicola calling you out? The Gran Turismo ponies are going to dominate the Forza Horizon bots. Xbots.
I have absolutely no problem with Nicola's comment here. It's classic console wars. Halo guys will beat these guys. That's fine. I have no problem with it. Clipping it and putting it on Twitter like it's some, haha, gotcha. You got to know Nicola. He goes round and rounds with a guy I listen to every week that we won't name because a lot of people I deal with my chat don't like him either. But I listen to him every week. They go round and round. They console war. They console war well. I don't have a problem with Nicola's comment. It's perfectly fine. It's actually great console warring. It's the guys who then run to your stats and pull your stats and screenshot your stats like that's some.
Did
You're
they
muted,
screenshot
Dan.
my stats? Because
I don't have
You're
that.
muted, Dan.
my stats would be worth screenshotting. He knows he's
Dan.
muted,
He
right?
knows he's
No, he
muted.
doesn't.
Okay, so that's what I have a problem with. That. Nicola, if you see this, I have no problem with that. Great console banner. I enjoy it. I'm not even a console guy. I'm literally a PC guy, but I'm not very good at Forza. This is kind of the banter we have. It's just kind of fun, right?
The only good one
I don't know
is
about any of you guys on this podcast. I've never claimed to be a good gamer, so he's right. I am trolling. It's kind of fun, and I'm kind of happy I got clipped by a notorious PlayStation fanboy. It almost feels like we've arrived. So,
Yep.
And sorry, Jose, for accusing you for having that in a short. That wasn't a short. He literally watched our podcast and clipped me. So
And commented. So shut up. We really appreciate
again,
it. Thank
I
you.
have
Dan's
no
back.
problem with Nicola in this.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted there. I was saying, everybody, you need to keep your trophies and achievements public. Unlike Joseph Moran hides his
Coward.
trophies. He's a coward.
He's a coward.
He
I bet
hides his gamer stats.
I bet he
Tell your
never
son
even
to unlock his
platinumed
trophies.
Bloodborne.
This is why you need to keep it public for the haters who come after you. Go look up my stats. I got nothing to hide. I was actually having to argue with one of our number one interns, Eric, because he said I'm not a true gamer. I had to tell that kid, I had to take him to school, that young gun Eric. Is Eric? How old do you think Eric is? I don't know. Anyway, guys, that has been the Nerd Chat shoutouts for the week. Anything here in the chat that I wanted to say? Oh, Dinero said from PC to PS5 Pro. No way. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that, Dinero. Join me in Pro Land. Speaking of Eric, yeah, right. Never going to do it. Shout out to Xbox Expansion Pass. Game Positive. Eric keeps telling me, fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah, that's never going to happen.
He's a Jets fan, isn't he?
He also said New Balance OP, they're so underrated. I was really impressed with the shoes so far, so I hope that they last me a long time. Todd Oxter said my groin is toxic. You got that right, Todd. He's absolutely right about that one, Jose.
He's absolutely right.
Silkinet said people asking for other platform games on Xbox because Xbox decides to put their games elsewhere will never stop making me laugh. It is funny, but at the same time, Xbox is dead. Silkinet also said Joe hides his trophies because he's ashamed of the save scumming he did for Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair.
And Todd Oxter said, I have 0 platinum trophies despite owning every That's shocking, Todd. I'm not going to lie, Todd. You play a lot of PlayStation. Not one, Todd?
It's like the kid that shows up to class every day and still fails somehow.
One? One?
Eric, these games to have fun. Shout out to I mad respect, Todd. You do, brother. I'm just
I
saying.
have 3 platinums. Todd, beat that.
Guys, let's jump into Xbox news for the week.
News team! Assemble!
News story number 1, make Battlefield great again. Guys, we had a sick Battlefield Labs trailer. I don't know, what day was this? 3 days ago. 4 studios across the globe, one brand new visionary team, Battlefield Studios. The global united front combining 20 plus years of Battlefield experience with the best emerging talent in our industry is hard at work to shape the future of our franchise. Our ambitions are big, so we're going bigger to deliver the best experience for our players. We're still in the early stages of development, but now is the time to test everything our teams have been building for our upcoming launch and beyond. So we are calling in the big guns, our community, introducing Battlefield Labs. This new testing environment is where players will join forces with the Battlefield Studios and help shape the evolution of Battlefield. You'll test combat mechanics, modes, and more while providing us with crucial feedback and the ultimate collaboration. Your voice will help shape our collective future. Let's build together. Registration is now open. We encourage everyone to sign up. Space is limited. Speaking of space is limited, Jose and I waited. We signed in basically right when this went live because Alan also showed us. He was like 160,000 in the queue. I was at 180. I don't know if Jose, guys, I didn't get it. That was probably at 10 a.m. This day this was launched. I got in, I believe, at like 11 o'clock at night, or maybe it was close to midnight. And I did get through. And basically all you did was fill out a couple of questions like Alan said. And they're like, okay, and maybe if you fill out this one, this might increase your chances. But there was a lot of people in this line at the opportunity of joining Battlefield Labs. I'm excited, you guys. At the very end of this video, they showed a clip of some gameplay, and it looked like a return to proper Battlefield form. I have to say, I have always been a Battlefield guy first. Battlefield Bad Company basically brought Bubble Boy and Jose and I together, and we spent
back together.
I'm a Battlefield fanboy first and foremost. COD was secondary to me, but I've been playing a lot more COD because Battlefield, ever since I never really, as good as Battlefield 1 was, I didn't really like that setting. I didn't like the gameplay. The older ones, I was a Battlefield 3, 4 Bad Company guy. Either way, I'm excited. Bubble Boy, you're a Battlefield fan. What did you think of this video? Did you wait in line?
I didn't wait in line. I missed most of that. I think if you noticed, I had a horrifically busy day at work, and I jumped on, I think, the chat at like 4 o'clock. I was like, what the hell did I just miss? And I hope it's not too big of a deal, but so excited. Like, even if I don't get to be part of that, like, so excited for it to come back. I feel like everybody I know that is not just a casual gamer has the first thing to say when they hear, anytime you say the words Battlefield, they're like, God, Battlefield's so much better than Call of Duty. They're like, if I had to pick one, I'd go Battlefield. And I'm just waiting for the day it comes back to basics and get some of that levolution. If they could find a way to give us Bad Company 2 with some elements of 4, sign me up, man.
Yep. Jose, did you end up getting, I don't know, I know you were in line. What happened with you?
I was in line, and I think it was literally 200,000. Like, I was over 200,000 in line when I started, but I left it open on my phone. And so I just was like, I left it on at work. And like, what was crazy is if you went back and checked it, even if you'd like shut your phone off, it would keep you in line.
Yes.
And so like, I kept checking like every couple hours, and I'd only go down like 20,000 people, which sounds like a lot. It's a lot, but like I was at 200,000. It's just a long time. And it finally, when I went to bed, I was at like 80,000, and that was at like 11. And I was kind of like,
jeez,
it's just like,
did you keep it up and check in the morning?
I did check in the morning just to be sure, and I timed out. It was like,
sorry, you got there, and then the 15 minutes. It gave you 15 minutes to do it.
Yeah, so I'm not mad about it. I love the trailer. Dan's absolutely right. Many of the people that have listened to the show for a long time know this, but like literally Chance and I were living together at the time before we met our wives and stuff. And we started playing, and we reconnected with Dan and his brother Pony, who we talk about. And like, man, there were some sessions we played for hours.
We played a lot of Battlefield.
And we do that now. I mean, we play games for hours. Many of our friends
not like the good old days.
It was like, days. You know what I mean? And And it was just good fun, man. And I'm not going to hate on COD. I still love COD. They're doing the Terminator event. I was telling everyone in the chat today, let's play COD this weekend. I still love COD, but it's just different than Battlefield. For as much as they're both first-person war shooters, I feel like Battlefield is a little more slow. It's a little more methodical. I think it encourages us to play as a team, which is what makes it fun, right? Like some of our funnest memories are Alan running the Apache helicopter and us hanging out the sides and, Goose jumping out into the middle of a firefight because that's what he likes to do.
Still one of the best.
So super excited for this dude. And if you didn't watch the video they sent out, you should absolutely do that. One of the things that I think is really cool, and if you don't know this, the companies that work on Battlefield, is it 4 or 5 of them? I always forget. 4 of them. They're all working on this. Where usually one is focusing on Battlefield and then the next one does, and they like stagger it. They said this time, for what we want, we're going to do the whole thing. Todd asked a great question in the chat. Are we going to get full price and a campaign? The price, I'm going to guess, is probably full price. I'm going to say that's a yes thing. They also did say campaign, though. They're going to bring a campaign back, which we didn't get in Battlefield 2042. So very, very excited, man. The biggest thing, and again, this is if you've never played Battlefield, when 2042 came out, it was in pretty rough shape. There was some like really bad stuff. And if you know me, I'm real lax. I'm happy to let things go. I don't mind crashes and stuff. But it was like virtually unplayable. And so I think that's the whole point of Battlefield Labs, right? Is they're trying to say like, we are just going to test the absolute crap out of this before we release it. And I think that's a genius move, man. So I'm very excited for all the stuff they're going to do.
Before I throw over to Bacon, so yes, the one thing that got me excited when you knew EA was serious about bringing Battlefield back is when they sent Vince Zampella over from Respawn, over from Call of Duty, over from Jedi Survivor, and Titanfall. Hey, you're going to be the head of DICE and relaunching the Battlefield series. And like Jose said, they've got multiple studios all coming together to work on this. They are taking it very serious, unlike Halo and Microsoft not doing the same thing to relaunch their IP. I guess to their Microsoft's credit, they are doing that a little bit with Halo Studios.
Yeah, Halo
but
Studios.
Bacon, what do you think was the most important thing that stood out to you from this announcement, or what are you most excited about from?
Well, of course, it is going to be Vince Zampella because I've yet to play a Vince Zampella game I didn't like.
Vince doesn't miss.
I just want it to go back to what it was in Battlefield 4. We all remember that was a cross-gen game.
So good, dude.
Bought it early on.
Oh, that was so bad on the Xbox One launch. That was bad everywhere, actually.
Just thinking about Shanghai and being up on that top of that skyscraper and epic battles, and next thing you know, that thing starts rumbling.
Damavad Peak.
Oh boy, it's coming off. So you got to parachute off the side of that thing, and just the way that changed the map. I got thousands of hours in Battlefield 4. It's by far my favorite. And me and Deja Vu played that like no one's business was Battlefield 4. So good. And I just remember being able to take my
Speaking of Deja Vu, Bacon, Deja Vu said, let's bring back all the good times of Battlefield 3 and 4.
Yep. So this is my hope. I was in the play test for 2042. I sat in the same line, but it was way quicker. I got my access. And I was really down on the game after that access. It always happens when I get in early, and I was super down, and I didn't buy 2042. It's the first Battlefield game I haven't purchased. I got it included in EA Access later and played it, and it was okay. 2042 is okay. Nobody wants heroes. Nobody wants wingsuits. We want boots on the ground.
Wingsuits are okay.
We don't want tornadoes.
I want spawn beacons. That's what I want.
They have spawn beacons.
I know they have them. I love them.
Boots on the ground. We want tanks. We want to put dynamite on a tank and drive it into it. That's what we want. We want a medic. We want an engineer. We want a sniper and an assault in a squad. That's what we want. That's what Battlefield players want, and it's some of the best gameplay of any series there is because it's just the crazy Battlefield shit that can happen. So I am so excited. I do like Battlefield more than COD, and I love COD. So that is saying something, as long as it's correct. Battlefield 1 was great. The sniping that me and Deja Vu did in Battlefield 1 was lit.
That's like the only good
Mouse
thing.
and keyboard, those sounds. So let's go. Let's make Battlefield great again.
Make Battlefield great
again.
And you can buy it on PlayStation with your Xbox controller.
PlayStation's the best, guys. I'm just going to say.
Shout out to Eric and Game Positive. He said that Battlefield 4 was his most played game, but he also said that they hinted at a BR on top Battle Royale on top of the game modes and the campaign. So I really appreciate how they're bringing all the studios together.
And you
And
play Firestorm?
yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't like terrible. It was a first attempt.
Yeah.
And then Eric also said a lot of the community left Battlefield 2042, but it's actually in great shape. I agree. Jose and I, we played it last year.
Not too long ago. It was
And
fun.
what I really like about 2042, which they should have done a better job advertising and putting more time into, is what is it called? The where you can play the old maps and you can play the Battlefield Bad Company stuff.
Not Generations.
Whatever that feature is, Eric.
Legacy or something like that. I can't remember.
What is it called?
Operation
Anyway,
Locker.
where you could play the old maps and modes, and you can even play like the old weapons and everything. That was really cool.
Portal.
But
Portal.
Battlefield Portal. You're right. And so, but I agree with Bacon. It launched, and Eric also said that was the first time when he joined Season Gaming that they played Battlefield 2042 with Ains. It was not good. Do you guys remember the beta? Remember how broken the beta was?
So bad in the
Dude,
beta.
it was so bad. And so it's in a much better spot now. And there are still some of those patented Battlefield only and Battlefield moments. So it's funny. If you look at the comments for this video, everyone here is basically like, just don't remember the last ones, you guys. Don't pre-order. Like every comment is like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Fool me once. Shame on you. And like literally every comment is like, do not forget this. Do not pre-order. So the community is not is not as positive about this as I am, but Bubble Boy, I can't help but be excited for this because it looked like Battlefield. So closing thoughts, you guys, on the future of Battlefield. Oh, are we going to see this? They said it's supposed to come out before April 2026. Are we going to see it this year or next year?
Oh,
Probably next year.
They always launched in
I
November.
was gonna say I would love like a Christmas launch. That would be so awesome.
But with the news
It's like
of
a
Grand
February
Theft Auto supposedly going to hit this year, they're going to
No,
wait,
it's not.
right?
No, it's not.
They're going to wait. 100%.
All right, guys, we are super pumped. We might have to jump into Battlefield right after this because I got a new Razer Wolverine V3 controller I need to test out here. So,
God of War with that.
oh God, no! Why would I do that? Let's move on to news story number 2. Just get ready, you guys. I've got some hot takes inbound right here.
I've got a firewall that's keeping me, or a paywall that's keeping me
Really?
from reading it right
You can't
here.
read it. Oh, this is coming from Paul Tassi over at Forbes. EA raises concerns about Mass Effect 5 as a service. And EA has been very upfront about how it's been disappointed in the performance of Dragon Age: The Veilguard. We'll talk about Dragon Age in a second because we got a lot of Dragon Age fans in the chat and one of us on the show. The reason being is that the lesson learned from Veilguard, according to EA CEO Andrew Wilson, is that the game did not have live service aspects. A genuinely stunning take is what Paul wrote, not me. Here's what he said, what Andrew Wilson said. In order to break out beyond the core audience, games need to directly connect to the evolving demands of players who increasingly seek shared world features and deeper engagement alongside high-quality narratives in this beloved category, Wilson said. Dragon Age had a high-quality launch and was well received by critics and those who played. However, it did not resonate with a broad enough audience in this highly competitive market. Tassi goes on to say the logic here is wild, and that the reason people didn't like this game or was not interested, it was because of the lack of a shared world or live service aspects is insane. Not a single person outside of EA agrees with this logic. I have to say, guys, and I know Bacon and a lot of people aren't going to agree with me, but I know one person is going to agree with me on this. Do you know who that is?
Trump.
Pony.
Nope. Chance, give me this soundbite.
Couldn't hear anything.
Can't hear it. I'm a man. I'm 40.
What?
Big box 1431. Guys,
Nothing?
I'm starting to believe Big Box is a gaming prophet. He has been arguing that more of these games need to be games as a service or live service games. Even though he's a boomer, he understands that single player games do not sell. Single player games
True, they don't.
do not bring in new customers.
Look at
Single player game exclusives do not grow your platform unless you are a Nintendo. I hate to say this. Big Bucks,
Don't do it,
the
Dan.
more I hear you speak, the more I have to bend the knee.
He's standing up, everyone.
He's
He
actually
just hit his
bending the knee,
head.
folks.
Yeah. I think he's
then,
puking. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe he's smelling his own
ripping
fart.
Big
Yeah.
Bucks.
Can you hear this one?
No. Big Bucks. I bend the knee to you.
Don't do it, Dan.
Big Box is onto something, you guys. And so is Andrew Wilson. Everyone thinks this is so great. Oh, I don't want that from Dragon Age. That's insane. Mass Effect multiplayer, Mass Effect live service. Guys, 1.5 million players. Players, not sold. No, Dragon Age. 4 million players, Indiana Jones. An insanely well-made game of Indiana Jones and the Great Crusade, or the Great Circle is Game of the Year 2024.
Pit of misery, dilly dilly.
Did it sell 1 million? Like Luke said? Is Avowed going to sell 1 million?
Fucking hell.
How many people are going to play Avowed only because of Game Pass? Is Avowed going to make money for Microsoft?
Yes. Because of Game Pass.
I warned social media. I'm coming in with a juicy take. I understand what Andrew is saying here. I'm not saying Dragon Age needs to be a games as a service and that would have made Veilguard a better game. But we are all old. And I hate to say this. We are the dying demographic of video game players.
I was saying balloons.
It's true.
Yeah.
We are not the core audience to get people to play and spend more money on games. We do,
But exclusive.
but that's not enough. I've thrown a lot out here,
Yeah.
but Chancellor, so you want to jump in? There's some truth to what he is saying. I'm not saying that every game needs to be games as a service, but if you want to appeal to a younger audience, which we are no longer a part of by a long shot,
Damn.
we have to change. They have to change how they make games. Okay, Bubble Boy, I've been talking a lot to take in there. Tell me what you think.
Well, they could have the best of both worlds. I know Eric just said they can't. They can with the next Mass Effect if they do the same multiplayer they had from Mass Effect 3. That was fantastic multiplayer, and I know we'd all play it. And if it was not live service, but they had some microtransactions that I don't hate, I would be perfectly okay with that. And to think that Veilguard would have had to have been live service is just so dumb. That could have turned into Concord if it was live service. That could have easily been. Why no? Why no?
It depends on your execution. Concord did not execute well, and there was not anything special about that game.
And why would there have been with a Dragon Age live service? I just don't even understand.
I'm not saying it had to be similar to Concord. Maybe a more co-op element to it. Can you play that game co-op?
No.
That's
And that's
an option.
okay.
I'm
And
not.
It's suited for co-op because you and two companions, just like Mass Effect. It is.
Can I
suited.
offer?
Come on, Jose. Wait. Actually,
Let Bacon finish.
oh gosh, here we go. Wait, I want to bring up Eric's comment. He said,
No,
"No, I'm not listening to Miyamoto. I'm not
that
no,
one.
No,
That
I'm
one-
not listening. No."
This one?
And Eric said, "Oh no!" Before that, he said, "Black Myth Wukong, 25 million copies sold." Yeah, and how many of that was in the United States, and how many of that was on console, Eric? I'd love to know those numbers before you tout the 25 million sold. And they said, in my opinion, they need to go all in on live service or all in on traditional BioWare single player, no half measures. To an extent, yes, I agree with that. But Hogwarts Legacy, yep. But what sold Hogwarts?
Outrage.
The IP.
Outrage.
IP. Again,
saying.
a rare game, Eric, in 30 million sold with a huge IP, which also didn't Warner Brothers say they weren't even happy, like with despite all the success of that game, if I'm not mistaken. Zenkai Goose said the biggest game in the world is Grand Theft Auto 6. And it's because of the single player, Mr. D. Wally. Exactly. Even Zenkai knows people aren't going to be playing Grand Theft Auto 6 for the single player campaign. And I'm pretty sure that Chance and I were the only ones who had played the campaign here until we forced Jose to do it just recently. Am I wrong, Jose?
In the last year. Yeah.
Take it away, Jose.
So I have a couple thoughts. I will get back to the article in a minute, but a counterpoint, and I'm playing devil's advocate here because honestly, I think that we're arguing for nothing because the casual players don't care about any of this. But here's my counterpoint to Dan's
That's the problem, though, Jose.
No, hang on,
That's the problem.
Let me finish my argument here. Your argument is that if we're not selling copies, then it's not successful. Do you know what Fortnite is not doing? Selling copies of their game because they're giving it away for free. That's not the same argument. You're making a different argument there. Now they're selling cosmetics, they're selling season passes. I understand that. I'm not dumb, right? But that's a very different model. And that is the model that none of these other games have done, right? Now, to that point, and this is where I'm not saying I disagree with Big Box or you, and I do see that there is a massive
single player games are in trouble unless you are exceptional, rare.
No.
Nintendo IP, Marvel Spider-Man IP.
Yeah, that helps.
Elden Ring
IP helps. But here's what I would argue. I think the issue is the price. I think that's the problem. Because when we see games that are like South of Midnight's a great example. It's a shorter game. It's not going to have any multiplayer or games as a service at all. But you know what? They're saying we're selling it for $40.
Yes.
I think Compulsion has
That's
the right.
great.
It's not
That's great.
It's not that God of War is a bad game. I know Bacon will have comments on that. I think God of War's fine. But
God of
when
War
you have
Ragnarok.
to pay $70, when you pay $70 for a game that you probably only play once. Now, again, I know that people like us, we get the platinums and the Jade trophies and all that. That is not most people, dude. Most people buy a game, they play it, they either sell it back or it sits on a shelf. That's just not how it works. So part of the issue is price.
Do you think most people are going to buy? Most people are going to buy either Eternal Strands for 40, like Nessa said, or South of Midnight. Do you think people are buying those games?
I think South of Midnight, yes. Eternal Strands, maybe, but here's the problem. It's not being touted like a AAA game. South of Midnight is, right? That is literally like right now, Xbox is advertising South of Midnight. They're promoting South of Midnight. It's all over social media. And I'm not saying Eternal Strands isn't. I'm not hating on Eternal Strands. It's probably a great game. I haven't played it. I'd like to, right? I'm just saying that, like, well, I do agree that with Big Knox that single player games are in trouble. I don't think it's because people don't want them. I think people do want them, but one, there's so many of them. Two, they're expensive. And to support your point, live service has totally thrown a wrench in that model because people find that game that they love. Luke and Joe love Rivals.
The sinisterest 6 years or older games.
Maybe. But that's my point is that if we don't, I guess here's what I want to say, that my opinion here. If we want single player games, we need to play them because Dan is right.
Not only play them, Jose,
to buy them. I understand, right? Because they will go less and less with that piece of it. But I agree also with Bacon that the scary thing is here that I think it was Chance. I'm sorry, not Bacon. That if EA starts doing the same thing with Sony, where we're going to make 10 live service games in the next 10 years, that is also not a good model, right? We just learned that lesson with Sony. So that's
how many
a little
Sony
scary.
games have been canceled, Jose?
The very last thing that I'll say about the article that just gives me a little bit of hope, because again, this is, and I'm not hating on Paul Tassi, but this isn't like
he likes to stir the pot, but I don't think
he's following logic, right? His version of logic. He says in here, or they said that they care about the narrative. They said that is important. So I'm glad that EA recognizes that's part of what made Mass Effect great.
Yes.
The other part of it is, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world if it had something that was online. A great example of that is COD. COD had a great story mode in this recent one and a great multiplayer. It can be done, but it's you have to be precautious about it, right? So it's not the end of the world, but we have to be careful. I haven't even been reading the chat. We'll get back to that. Who has thoughts?
Wait. Before I throw it to Bacon and his rant, Game Positive is spitting some numbers at Baldur's Gate 3, 50 million copies. Does that a lot to you guys? To me, across
I would like 15
across
million.
PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, 15 million copies sold.
especially with 60 million PS5.
Not that much, but I mean, we don't know how much that costs to make. Horizon Zero Dawn, that is absolutely shocking to me. That's got to be part of that's got to be pack-ins. That's
Yes, it's pack-in.
Horizon Zero Dawn, by the way, is the Avatar of movies. Everyone's seen it, but nobody remembers anything about it and doesn't understand why it exists.
You go to Red Rocks.
I liked it. PlayStation fans, remember, I liked it.
I don't, and I have the platinum, so don't tell me I didn't play it. Logan said, "Do we need to purchase or engage it for single player? You need to buy them. This playing on Game Pass is not. It ain't it. Eternal Strands. We can skip. He said first game for the studio, very different. I agree. Zenkai. I wonder how many sales Doom gets. That's pure single player, but Game Pass. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean." But I feel like Doom, another one that's an established, well-loved IP, especially. Chance, you're shaking your head. You don't think so?
No, I'm sorry. I'm confused at why my thing keeps doubling over here. No.
It's because you have both my channel and Dan's channel selected in the comments.
Oh, okay. I don't know. That's a good question, Goose. Doom, that's going to be an interesting one. Todd said, sad that Dragon Age Veilguard was killed, and Captain Logan, how are we judging games? Box office sales or critics? How do you think EA is judging these games? How do you think Sony
come out
is?
and said they're claiming monthly active users also. That's the most important metric is engagement.
And hours, right? Don't they look hours?
Which is fine, because what are most of those? What are 90% casuals spending their money on?
On
Taco Bell.
Microtransactions, the free-to-play games. Yes, that's what's bringing you in money, not these single-player games. Big bucks. I hope you're listening. Jose. We need to get big box.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Thank you, Chance. It worked on there. There's a lot going on here, but I don't necessarily disagree. What was it, Andrew? Right? What's his name? Andrew Wilson was saying, like, similar to what Eric was saying. EA, they're going to keep doing their stupid Madden, their football club. But when it comes to single player games, I'm worried about BioWare. I'm worried about single player games coming from EA in the future. And Bacon, you've been patiently waiting. Let's hear what you have to say about Paul Tassi and
a
single
very
player.
open-minded individual. I believe everybody belongs on this planet, and you can claim and do whatever you want.
We'd all say that, but thank you, Bacon.
There is Dragon Age failed because there is one character storyline that is completely
that's
full.
not why
Dan,
it
I
failed.
played the game. I've seen all the outrage. You don't know that there is a Steam channel that tracks DEI involvement in games. Okay? When a game gets released to reviewers and they say that content is in a game, it's instantly going to fail. I don't want it to be that way, Dan. I played the game. I had 67 hours in the game. It was the most uncomfortable storyline I've ever been a part of in any game, and anyone in this chat can back me up on that. That's why that game failed.
Can you
It is
spoil
Mass
it for us?
Effect. What's that?
Can you spoil it? I'm curious. I need to know what it is.
There is a woman who's not a woman, who's not a man, who scolds people for not referring to her by her pronoun, bro. That's what killed that game. It was forced. Every
That's
other
real.
storyline was absolutely phenomenal, and I liked Tasha's storyline. It was fantastic as well, but it was so forced upon you. I don't care about that, but a lot of people do. I am telling you to play the game, and you'll get to that part, and you'll be like, that is pretty forced. That's why Veilguard failed. The combat was fantastic. The writing was fantastic. The story, fantastic. Huge set pieces. It is BioWare.
Okay.
I gotta jump in.
All right, let's hear it, Bubble.
He is 1,000% right.
I'm not saying that doesn't have effect. Absolutely, you're right. It does.
That has to be why. Think about the timing of
Right,
when
non-binary.
it came
Todd
out,
says
too.
it. Non-binary in
As-
a fantasy world.
as-
Biggest complaint.
As all the election stuff was
thank you.
ramping, it was at a fever pitch, as high as it had ever been. I think the only time that it could have released worse would have been maybe like in January, like the last 2 or 3 weeks, because
You're dead on,
it
Jay.
just it is.
Okay.
And there are people who probably would have loved that game. And
I agree. You're
refused
cutting out
to
a
even
portion of your
consider
offense
it.
when you force that on some people who aren't open to that. I get that. But here's my pushback. Why did Astrobot only sell 1.5 million copies?
Because it
Game of
wasn't
the
a
year.
good game.
Because it
made
was
it
No,
short
a
of it.
casual
universal acclaim.
It wasn't a great game.
What's your excuse for that? Indiana Jones. We're assuming it sold 1 million and maybe 4 million people played it. Well, why didn't that succeed?
We don't know
was
that it
wrong
hasn't
with Indiana
succeeded.
Jones?
You're assuming it hasn't succeeded.
But I'm going to tell you.
Wait. I'm still waiting for the answers to why such low player numbers and purchases for
PlayStation players don't play games.
Astrobot
Apples
and
to
Indiana
oranges, man.
Jones.
I told
Apples to
you,
oranges to grapes.
prices are the issue.
And so
Because when
what's the solution, Jose?
Lower prices.
Or
don't
free
know,
to
that's
play
easy.
games as a service games, like Andrew Wilson is saying, where we can share worlds and you can have the social guys. Think about our kids. What are they growing up with? Immediate internet accessibility and social media. Their lives revolve around these stupid. Our lives revolve around these things. Imagine if we were in high school more than 20 years ago. My God, we are old. And we had this at all times. What is going to pull me away from this to go play my Xbox? Or my PlayStation, I should say, because Xbox is dead. Tell me. Big bucks.
Shrinking
There-
will pull you away from that.
I mean, here's my problem with that, Dan. Is
We are old. No, we grew up with
I'm
Super
very old.
Nintendo.
Look, great
We grew up with
beard.
Super Nintendo. We grew up with the PS1, Super Nintendo, PS3. We loved these things. We are not. Jose, you said it in one of our shorts. The demographic has changed.
Right, but you're conflating two
Zenkai's.
things, Dan. Just because the demographic is changing, and it is, you're right, doesn't mean there's not a place for single player.
I
But
agree.
it also doesn't mean that sales is the only metric that companies care about. Again,
How do they survive?
I don't know, but you don't know either. No, neither does Zenkai, neither does Todd, neither does Bacon, neither does anyone in our chat. I mean that respectfully, guys. I love you all. I'm just saying you're assuming that because of like studios closing that they're like, we don't like these things. You're assuming that EA is going to just totally change their model because of this one article that this dude wrote. I'm just saying, like,
this is a reoccurring thing. This has nothing to do with Paul Tassi's article. We've been seeing this and discussing this. Sorry, go ahead, Chance. You want to say something? What did
I've been
Zenkai say?
talking to, well, his is great. You should put it up there, the last
Oh,
one.
is it-
But I'm saying Logan and I had a brief interaction over here on the side. And what I was trying to ask him was like, why are movies not judged like this? Because movies, box office is only one thing. I don't know a single person that likes the Avatar movies, yet they were the biggest box office hit of all time. Okay. And think about Netflix. Netflix doesn't, the Squid Game didn't make money. Squid Game doesn't have a
Recurring revenue. Yes.
so how can that be the only judgment on this medium? The next closest thing would be movies and TV, and they're not
Is it?
judged that way.
But-
Well, I don't know what else.
But look at movies. Like, isn't the movie business, is that not dying too? To what? To streaming.
movie theaters
streaming,
might be.
yes,
That doesn't mean
to-
the movie. That doesn't
again,
mean films are dying.
It goes back to that accessibility and people instantly watching. Who are bigger celebrities now than actual actors? Who do I see in commercials? Streamers. I see Kai Cenat on all
one
kinds,
streamer. That's one streamer out of billions, Dan.
or influencers. They are the new celebrities. Mr. Beast.
Not as much
That's
as you
right.
think. I don't think.
Not as much as we think.
KBHD?
Chance, we are old, dude. Yes, they are. I'm
Well,
telling
here's
you.
why. This is exactly why. So we had with our AAA classes about a month ago, right before the end of semester one, they had one of their finals was like to have an interview panel. And every group of kids that I interviewed, I said, if you could have your own platform and influencer, or to be an influencer, what would you do? And they all just kind of stared at me. And I was like, okay, well, who are your favorite influencers? And they were still just kind of like, they literally were like, I think because they're so used to scrolling past everything, they might have one or two that they go back to. It's not, I really don't think that they are the loyal fan base that you think they are either. And that could be scary because by the time, if there's never any loyalty to anything, then, but
So sorry, to go back to Zenkai's comment. Zenkai said, in my opinion, the problem with AAA games is their ideas are horrible on average. It's like when Warner Brothers made a Suicide Squad game instead of a Batman game. And
That's
it was
absolutely
also
a great point.
And tried to make it
But-
live service.
counter to that, Zenkai, do you think if it was a Batman game live service, would it have done better? Was it just the Suicide Squad that ruined that? Nessa said Dreamlight Valley isn't free, and there are transactions that you can go to other people's. Yeah, and that's why Dreamlight Valley is successful.
You don't
with
know
some
that
of
it's successful. You don't know anything.
And,
about
but everyone forgets, what does Dreamlight Valley have? An IP, a Disney IP. So there's another thing. Todd Oxter said hours played on, it's Disney Dreamlight Valley. Hours played on PlayStation and Xbox is dwarfed by the same old games for a year. Correct. Silkenet, their survival is not our problem. Absolutely right, Silkenet. Unless you work for them. I agree, but we are already seeing so many studio shutdowns. Now I'm afraid to start seeing ones we care about be shut down. Sony.
We've already had ones we.
Oh, I know.
about.
I agree, but like more, like BioWare, dude. BioWare's next. You guys.
BioWare should not be shut down for Dragon Age. I'm sorry.
I'm
right,
not saying
Steve.
it should be, but the reality is that these big publishers are struggling with first player $70 exclusive games.
But you know what the other piece of that is, Dan, is that think of the movies. YouTube is a great example of this. One of the biggest reasons why companies don't make as many movies anymore and they don't make as much money on movies is because now anyone can make movies. In the same instance,
Correct.
anyone can make games, and it's easier than ever, relatively, right, for people to make games. The issue is the price, right? For people, again, not us who are like comfortable and late in our life and I want to buy a game, so I buy a game.
Yes.
Like kids, they go to a store and saying like, I want $70 to buy a game. Well, do you know if it's good? Well, maybe. Like that's a much bigger gamble. It's different if it's 20. It's different if it's 40. Like,
But
that's
how do you make these good games like what you're saying for 20 or 30 or $40?
you make them shorter?
You make them, and that was the point I was going to say. And I think God of War Ragnarok crushed it out of the park in this. I'm saying crushed our argument that stop spending however many tens of hundreds of millions or whatever to make these games. Make a shorter experience, make an experience that doesn't cost hundreds and hundreds of $1,000,000. You can still make fantastic games otherwise. Look at Balatro. How much did Balatro cost to make for one guy?
I mean,
He
Balatro
spent a
was
lot.
phenomenal.
He spent
That's
many
an
years on
anomaly.
it too.
Okay, and think about what was the one you just played? Axiom Verge, right? One guy.
Stardew Valley, still one of my favorite games of all time. One dude.
And I'm
Yeah,
not.
but these
I'm
are
not
all
naming-
extreme exceptions. Like these are. We can name AAA games that are failing to meet expectations more than we can these one-off exceptional games. Like I want to get this comment in here. Gentle Stone, I think this is what Zenkai is saying yes to, is the corporations teach them not to have loyalty. And I think that's what you were saying, Jose. And Zenkai said, yes, 100%. Is that what you're saying too, Zenkai?
I think he was saying to your answer to his.
Oh, and look at Suicide. Oh, sorry. Never mind. Zenkai also said, look at this. Oh, you said that, Chance. Never mind. Zenkai said, look at the Suicide Squad movie. Both bombed, even when one was reviewed well. Quality is important, but the market the game plays in is much more important, in my opinion, and game developers don't realize this. And Gentle Stone, all the people who've made the games we've loved are already gone from the studios. Yep, or a lot of them are leaving. Eric said third-party AAA single-player games are judged 100% on sales. First-party success can also come from critical acclaim as they bring people to the platform. That's why we see more of them from first. I don't know if I agree with that, Eric. I don't think PlayStation's exclusives are selling PlayStations.
Maybe not this generation's, but last generation's did.
Sure did.
And it carried
Maybe.
over
I
to
bought
this
one.
generation.
I bought a PS4 just
Maybe, but
one of those games.
For Spider-Man, I did.
I can't remember who wrote this. Oh, it was Alex. It was Alex from Season Game and wrote, and we were talking about, it was on X, about how PlayStation the PlayStation name is just the de facto go-to console for people to play video games who want an upper end experience. Xbox has no power in that anymore. And that's why, guys, Xbox giving up on this generation. It's over. Jose was right. He said Halo's coming to PlayStation. Halo's coming to PlayStation probably this year. I mean,
And
let's
Switch.
be real. And Switch. And they are done with this generation. I have so many thoughts about where Xbox is going after this. This has turned out into a great conversation, a lot going on. Bacon, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
I just want to make sure that I'm clear. I was angry and I was loud in that, and I had to shut Dan down for a second. I do not agree with the reason why Veilguard failed. I want to make that very clear. Everybody belongs on this planet and everybody needs their time in the sunshine. I am just telling you that is why Veilguard failed. Yep. I loved the game. I absolutely adored that game. And there was an uncomfortable 2 hours of gameplay where I was just like, what are we doing?
Is it a
here,
forced
Power?
quest? Like it's not.
No, it's a companion quest. So you can choose, short of picking your pronouns in the character creator. Once you get to that certain quest line, you can choose to not get her loyalty and go on about it. But I was trying to get the full 1,000 out of 1,000, so I wanted that, and I still didn't get it. Anyways, I want it clear. I do not agree with the outrage and the anger. I just want it known that's one of the main reasons that game failed. So.
That may have been the reason contributing to Dragon Age's failure, but I'm still waiting for reasons why Indiana Jones and Astro Bot,
right. But
phenomenal
when
games,
it
have low
comes to
player
Game
counts.
Pass, because it'll come to Game Pass within the next 6 months, and you guys all get to play it for free, please play it. Please.
Oh,
play
I
it.
absolutely
True,
agree.
and I think that's what Jose is arguing here with the pricing. I think Game Pass helps get eyes on more games, but I don't think that the eyes on and player count is enough to keep getting these large, expensive first party games. I think
if you do paid DLC and stuff like that can make a single player game survive. Those days almost feel like they're gone of paid DLC.
Todd's comments. Prince of Persia was awesome. Didn't get sales.
Too hard.
We can complain, but when people spend their time in live service games like COD, they don't have time to play single player games. COD, Fortnite, Apex Legends are the problems. Play real games. I disagree, Todd. That is the market, the audience responding to what they like to play. These aren't bad games. These are just games that younger audiences can play together. Guys, can you imagine if we had this when we were in high school? Do you remember how crazy it was when Halo launched with multiplayer, Halo 2? Imagine having that at all times and having it for free. Why wouldn't I play that? If I don't have any money as a kid, I'm not even enough for Game Pass, why wouldn't I play Fortnite?
Just so we're
and
clear,
Apex?
the kids are a problem. I just want everyone to know that.
Gentlestone brings up another great point here.
He nailed it, I think.
We used to have only a limited number of games.
Fair.
So each game sold more copies. Now we have more games than ever, and each game sells less and less
Just
copies.
Look at 2025.
Exactly. So
We have
Gentlestone,
so many
look
games
at
coming out this year.
look at February.
Right.
Kingdom Come, Avowed, Like a Dragon. What's the other one I'm forgetting? Assassin's Creed was supposed to be there. Within the first 2 months, and a shout out to Maddie and Cog, they were talking about this on Duke today. Us. How does a normal person or enthusiast like us have time to play any of those games?
Sacrifice a lot of sleep.
How does even Mr. Maddie and Cog, or Maddie, who does it full time, he doesn't even have enough time to play all these games.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds, you forgot about that
Oh!
one. It's a huge one.
Dude, this is insane.
Yeah.
There's too many games. Too many
If it
games.
makes it.
Oh, Eric, bring up Eric's comment about the de facto. If Play Dash Station is the de facto and always wins no matter what, then explain the 360. That was lightning in a bottle, Eric. Those were the good old
Because
days. That's my
PS3
favorite.
Came out at a $600 price tag.
Exactly. Thank you.
This is how you share games.
Based
That's
bacon.
why.
PS3 launched, horrible price, stupid expensive. Xbox came out, affordable, great games.
They told us to get a second job.
a third party exclusive. Xbox
Did they not
360.
tell us that? Get a second job.
Yes,
Thank
favorite
you.
console of all time, 360. That's never going to happen again, and that might not happen ever again for consoles ever. But guys, great discussion. Jose, do you want to close off any final thoughts here and bring us with something positive as we close this? Or do you have anything to say? No.
No, here's what I would say positive. What Xbox, in my opinion, what the Xbox and probably
Xbox is going to make bank.
are subscribing to is the Netflix model you're talking about, Dan. Because Netflix, the Squid Game example is a great example. They're not measuring Squid Game in terms of the revenue that brings in. They're measuring it in hours watched because that equates to monthly subscriptions. It's the same thing, right? Like it's for us, we're used to, you talk about being boomers, we're used to measuring game success based solely on selling copies, right? On a dollar amount.
Exactly. The dollar amount is what's making these companies money.
Well, hang on. And I'm not saying that's wrong, right? I'm not saying that's not important. I'm saying that the equation has changed where now that's only a piece of it. Because when you have to factor in, like, sure, a lot of people played Indiana Jones on Game Pass. That's hard to measure. Xbox knows that number, and it's based on hours. And you can do some simple math to say that, like, most gamers aren't gaming 24 hours a day. Most gamers probably aren't even gaming 2 hours a day, right? So if you do the math and you can say, like, look, the average gamer is spending 4 hours a week on Indiana Jones, that's a success. That's 4 nights a week someone's playing an hour long of Indiana Jones. There are other metrics we have to consider here. And, at the end of the day, even if we're not going to get all of the first player games that we used to get, we're still getting a lot of really great ones.
I agree.
Right? This year is a great example of that, man.
I
So we need to
agree.
champion games. We need to not
Yes.
knock games, right? And we need to share games, right? The more places you can put the game that you want everyone to play, the more people are going to play.
And that's exactly why Xbox is going to get out of hardware and go full third party. And speaking to your point, Jose, Captain Logan says it really well right here. If console sales are down and more games are being released for games that are 4+ years in development and they rely on good sales, then companies are going to close down. And a part of the reason is look at Todd's answer. He kind of ties into why companies are going to close. The only game I'm playing in February is Avowed, and he's playing that through Game Pass, so he's not going to buy it. And Yakuza, because he has GameFly. So Todd is literally going to pay, $20 plus his other subscription to pay these 2 games instead of paying $100 and some. So Todd also said Xbox has to get their budgets and development cycles right to make bank on sales potential. Hellblade can't take 7 years. Dinero Primero spitting facts. Let's just share the love of
Thank you,
gaming.
Games everywhere. Exclusivity is stupid.
Let's move on to news story number 3. Great segment. Great segment. News story number 3. My God, that was 30 minutes of great segment right there. News story number 3.
Put the
Capcom
numbers off of there, by the way. I put numbers because I thought it was helpful.
No, it doesn't help me. So I stopped doing that.
He
Thank you.
jumps around.
Exactly, because I add things and exactly. News story number 3, Capcom Spotlight. I didn't even know this was a thing. Does anybody see anything that interested them? I believe Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection is finally on Xbox. COG was saying, hey, all you people who complained, you better buy it.
All right.
Did any of you guys buy it?
No,
I didn't complain.
Okay, exactly. Nobody buys games anymore.
I buy plenty games, Dan.
I do too.
Okami and Kunitsugami, they get some demos, and there's a 2-game bundle of them. And then Eric, I'm probably sure Eric probably said something. Animusha Way of the Sword. There's Eric in Animusha 2 Samurai's Destiny is being remastered. He was freaking out about this. Animusha, Chance, did you play these games? Because Eric was giving me a hard time in their chat saying, like, I'm the bad that's what started, oh, you're not a true gamer because I didn't play Animusha. Has anyone else here played this?
I think I did, but I can't remember.
I didn't finish it.
Not very memorable.
Yeah.
Jose?
I played it. I liked it. I didn't finish it because at the time I was playing other games. I'm excited for these. I like these kind of games, and not that I don't. I still like Ninja Gaiden. I still like all of them. I think this is rad. I'm glad they're bringing the IP back. I think it's smart.
Does Bacon? Do you understand the point of this
I don't.
Capcom Spotlight? To be honest,
no,
was it just for like the Capcom or the Marvel release on Xbox?
Right, there's
really?
going to be simps of every company. It's just what it is, and people are really happy and passionate about this stuff. I'm not. I mean, I'd never even heard of Ami Minutia until Dan got in an argument in the chat with, and I didn't want to get yelled at. I didn't want to catch
Bacon's
any
gonna
strays.
get canceled if we keep putting all these Capcom.
Like, I didn't want to catch any strays, so I just said I hadn't heard of it either. I haven't, but if it's going to be fun, I'll play it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in the new one. I maybe I need to replay the remaster, but again, what am I going to wait for, Jose? I'm not going to buy it. What am I going to wait for?
Game Pass.
Wait for it to come out on Game Pass. I'm part of the problem. Game Positive. So for the record, I literally never said he was not a true gamer. I'm actually going to go back in the chat. I'm going to go try to find that.
You did say that.
And Animusha, according to Todd, is the third tier of Resident Evil and Dino Crisis. Well, if it's the third tier, it's not worth my time, Todd, because I only played Resident Evil, didn't even play Dino Crisis. So you know what? Capcom, otherwise, I love Capcom, Jose, one of the greatest developers, killing it with Resident Evil. They can do whatever they want. They're about to kill it with Monster Hunter, the best-selling Capcom
they're
game.
Gonna make so much.
So, shout out to Capcom Spotlight. Let's move on. We're going to skip Stephen Ogg. I just wanted you guys really to watch. You should go watch that interview. It's really interesting what he says. So everyone should go listen to that. Tariffs and video games. Who wants to take this one away?
I put it on there.
What you wish for,
but I don't know if we really need to spend a ton of time on it. We can skip it.
Well, here's the cut and dry. Tariffs are going to increase gaming across the board. There it is.
Unless they're digital. Right,
like so, and that's part of
still the cost of a new console is going to go 25%.
That's true.
Yeah, so PS5 is now going to be $1,500.
Wait, Bacon. Are you saying I need to buy my PS5 Pro now before prices increase?
No, because the tariffs are already in place, so I'm sure the prices are going to go up here the next week or so.
He's absolutely right,
Jose. If I'm at all interested in a PS5 Pro, do I need to go right now to Target and purchase one?
Dan.
You're not interested in a PS5
If you're into
Pro.
upscaled 720p and not the native experience you're currently getting, then go get a PS5 Pro.
Dan, I want you to stay married. For the love of God,
yeah,
do
not
go
married. Please stay married, Dan.
Trust me, that's not the reason why
Single Dan
my
would be
marriage
tough
is
to
going to
deal
end. On a serious note, there's a lot going on with these tariffs. I mean, apparently Canada
the console is made in China, so
Canada hates us now. Jose, Mexico is avoiding these. Jose, Mr. Econ, can you give us a quick update on what's going on with these this 25% tariffs on Canadian products in Mexico, or should we say that for another time?
Look, here's the short gist, and like this is not meant to be political. If you voted for who's here, I hope you're happy.
Make America great again, Jose.
You probably already know this.
You're a supporter.
Long story short, in the early
Shut
90s.
the f- up, Gary.
Thank you.
In the early 90s, Mexico, Canada, and America decided that we wanted to have free trade. There was this act called the North American Free Trade Act,
NAFTA
for short,
worked well.
that basically said that in order to support each other's economies, we're going to more freely trade with each other. Now, it doesn't mean zero tariffs. It doesn't mean we trade absolutely for no things, right? Because everybody still needs to make money, businesses. But the idea was that if we don't have tariffs, which are basically taxes for goods made in one country and shipped to another and sold in that country, that theoretically we could make more money. Our citizens would be happier. More recently, governments have chosen, for reasons that I'm not going to get into on this podcast, to stop that. And to be very clear, when we talked about tariffs, we're talking like single digits, and single digits like 8% would be insanely high at that time, and everyone would be freaking out about that. Well, right now we're talking like 25% tariffs, which is
for those?
Which is frankly a little scary, mostly because of like things are already expensive, dude. And so like it's not great, man. And it's not. I'm not saying people are wrong. I'm not saying that that I should tell you what to believe. I'm just saying, for a hobby that we all love. Good to see you in the chat, Goose. For a hobby that we all love, it's going to get more expensive here for a while. Hopefully that will change.
Wait, why would digital games go up in cost? Because it costs. I don't understand. Why would that be affected?
It depends on how the language is written. If the language is written that any product created in a different place,
I see.
It could
the
be taxed,
creation,
right? Like creation and like.
So the French studios,
potentially
French Quebec studios that Zenkai and Eric are a part of.
Yes. So we'll see.
They would be screwing us over.
And here's the only thing I will say, editorial here. As much as we joke with Eric, we joke with Zenkai because they're both Canadians. They are our brothers. We love them.
They're our brothers in arms.
Right? Diego and me and my family.
They helped us win World War II.
And Pomps, right? Our families, right? Even though
War on Terror.
We're citizens. Be very clear.
Wait. Speaking of citizens, Dinero Primero said, "I'm surprised Jose is still here and that ICE didn't get him." We are all shocked. We are all shocked, Diego.
You need to sit back and think that absolutely nothing is built in the United States. Your controllers, your headsets, your consoles, your USB sticks, everything is created in China, and everything that's going to be imported
or Taiwan or the Philippines.
Good thing I grabbed this when I did.
Will now have a tariff attached to it. You can say it's an American company in Xbox, but everything is made in China. We We are not going to miss this. This is going to hit every single one of us. And I paid
will.
$13 for 18 eggs the other day.
Gentle Stone has a counter argument. Companies love any excuse to raise prices. They never decrease
fair.
after tariffs are listed. Yep, see?
That's fair. They could have gone down.
And the Canadian dollar, as Zenkai said, is already bad. Rip. And Zenkai also says, you bet your buns they saved us in World War II. Yep, you guys saved us. Shout out to Coach Goose66. He said this is boring, but he did say
Attitude.
Indiana Jones is awesome. Speaking of Indiana Jones, guys, let's jump into the last news story for the week. News story number 5, coming to Game Pass for February 2025, because I'm pretty sure Goose has Game Pass, didn't even know Indiana Jones was there.
There was a game in
Casual.
Absolutely insane, because there was plenty of advertising for Indiana Jones. Anyway, coming this month, available right now. Far Cry, New Dawn, cloud, console, and PC. I believe Bubble Boy and we beat this, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
1,000 out of 1,000, fine, right? If anything, go play what? Far Cry 5, right? Bubble Boy?
Right. 5 was great.
Yeah.
5 was great.
Yeah, sorry.
Because
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is the continuation. This is basically a direct sequel to 5. So
I understood the design choices with all the bright hot pinks.
yes, I like the art.
colors.
Yes, the art design.
It got
Correct.
overwhelming too, though. Sometimes, like, it was just a little too. It was too much because it takes place in the.
Don't just yeah, but don't say anything. Spoiler
Can't say it
alert.
takes place in Montana.
No, which is fine. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something else.
No. So it's just like, I don't know. It got overwhelming to me. That's all.
Yeah, okay,
As
but I would say
all
Bubble Boy.
games do.
They need to play the first, right?
Oh,
5? It's a
yeah,
direct
well, it's
sequel.
a better
Like,
game, and it'll tell you why you're seeing everything.
Exactly.
You're seeing and
guys, yeah, go play 5 first. But
5's
if this is a cool sequel, not so sure it's.
The opening 10 minutes to 5 were awesome.
Oh, the whole game is awesome. Coming soon to Game Pass Standard. Another Crab's Treasure, which Jose beat, correct?
Banger.
Okay.
Loved it.
Coming to Standard. Also, Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, February 5th. Starfield is also coming to Game Pass Standard. And I believe Luke tweeted or Z'd or threaded, I don't know anymore, saying
wait, what?
this is coming to
It's
this
the
is
right
coming
time to do it.
No, this is coming to PlayStation, is
Right,
what he
and
was
that's the right
saying.
time to do it.
I don't understand.
Once it
Let it
reaches
play
the
it.
core, then they release it on PS5.
Madden. It's a good thing I waited. NFL 2025 is coming to Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass with EA Play.
Which, by the way, what does that little supercharged packet look like on that?
Looks like a
picture there?
condom.
That's
condom
exactly
wrapper.
right. That's exactly
Does
right.
look good condom.
And I'm not going to finish my
Shout out
sentence.
to Big Bucks. Josh Allen was just named MVP, just for the record. Good job, Josh. Allen.
Really?
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Just got the
Kermit
alert.
didn't win?
Wow. All right. Whatever.
I mean, he's never going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so
exactly. I'm okay
Damn,
with
that was
that, right,
close,
Chance? I'm okay with him winning that. Kingdom 2 Crowns is coming to cloud and console Game Pass Ultimate February 13th. Avowed is coming to cloud, PC, Xbox Series X and S, Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass on February 18th, day 1. And leaving Game Pass on February 15th. A Little to the Left. Great name. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Also a great game. EA Sports UFC 3, Indivisible, Merge, and Blade. Return to Grace. I'm pretty sure Coach Goose was a fan of that game. And Tales of Arise are all leaving on February 15th. And
Goose
Todd
was
said,
a fan of Return to Grace.
I think so. Coach Goose was.
Was that like a DLC to NCAA?
No. Goose
how
said,
did he know it was
Starfield should give me a refund. Hey, Goose, Starfield was also on Game Pass. So if you had Game Pass, you bought that twice. No, he played that on Game
Played it
Pass.
on Game Pass.
Nerd Chad, Nissa Howard said, my ROG Ally is up and running fine. They wiped the hard drive. Don't know. They had to do that, Nissa, because when you install the new hard drive, Bright Bacon, like it has to be.
I mean, they could have cloned it, but yeah. That's
Yeah,
It
I'm
is
not.
what it is.
I'm not surprised. But if you have Game Pass, and you should have your save files, it's just a pain in the butt to re-download all the games. And then I like Todd's question here: is standard games games coming to standard Game Pass 18 months later. Is that what it looks like? I don't know, Todd. You might be on something.
Starfield's the first one to do it, so is that? I mean, this will be the litmus test, right?
What
18 months feels like a long time.
So wait, Starfield was 9/6 of September of
we played the
2023.
DLC and forgot about it.
Is that 18 months ago?
Not
Somebody do the
quite.
math.
September, right?
Yeah, it's
August or
16.
September?
It's 16.
Let's
I mean,
move on.
I'd like to see a year, but actually, I'd like them all to be in core.
Dude, they're all going to be guys. They're all going to be day one on all platforms coming up here soon. So it doesn't matter. Guys, that has been the Xbox news for the week. Let's jump into what have we been playing and or watching. Bubble Boy, take it away.
Yeah, still almost done with Avatar, so I should have a gamer grade for that soon. I am excitedly now on to Assassin's Creed 2.
You beat one already?
8.5 hours, man.
Wow.
Sorry, 6.5, 8.5. It was 6.5. 6.5 hours. I did not do any of the flag capture.
Why didn't you do it?
I went because there's no achievement.
There, you heard it, you guys. I knew it.
You bet your ass I would have if there were achievements attached to it. But that was kind of cool because I didn't need to do all that stuff. Like, my God, that would have been a slog.
Yeah.
And so that was only the second time I played Assassin's Creed. This was the first time I replayed it, and man, it didn't age well. And for the one that I'm always like, yeah, but you have to rank it higher because it
climbing
was the original.
was a pain.
Oh, it was terrible. And so one of the categories I have in my rubric is
Very
gameplay.
thorough rubric.
Yes, very.
Also, hold on, Bubble Boy. We got a shout out to Eric. Eric's got to run. He's got a veterinary exam in the morning. Good luck, Eric.
like
Shout out.
he's trying to be a vet.
Or
Dude,
he's
he's
saving
like-
money on healthcare and going to the vet.
No, he lives in Canada. They have
Oh, it's all free.
They don't have doctors though. He was telling us that's an issue up there.
So yeah, you're great. You're gamer grade for one of the categories you were saying.
yeah, it's innovations, and man, the jump that they made from
Todd
1
got
to
you
2,
guys.
I forgot all about how many extra things are made into
Just
it
gonna
and put into
this
that
one
game,
right
and I'm just having a blast. And it really is making me excited to replay 3, which I thought was underrated, and 4 for sure.
Oh God, 3's not. You're gonna. I just played that not too long ago. It's just as bad as you remember it. And then Todd said,
That's not wrong.
Todd said, new games aren't selling because Bubble Boy, you guys are playing old games. We are all playing old games. But here's the thing, Todd.
I'm playing all
We
new
bought
games.
them. We did buy them
Oh, I spent
So-
$115 on this.
on old games.
Yep.
So he's helping Ubisoft.
Yeah,
Anything else,
new
Chance?
games.
No, because we already talked about Paradise too, right? Yep. So
All right, Bacon. You say you're playing new games. Talk to us.
Yes, because my recent purchases, Ragnarok. I pre-ordered Last of Us 2. I've purchased Spider-Man at full price because
Sony fanboy number one.
I don't want, but I get clipped by the ponies, so I don't get it. I'm playing only PlayStation games. Actually, that's not true. So the first one I'm playing, God of War Ragnarok. My God, I don't know how you can go so far from 2018 to what they did in this one. I feel like it is a loot grind and only a loot grind. Every corner has a chest that I have to get to. Dan was on chat with me last night or the night before.
He was
literally
complaining the whole
45
time.
minutes to figure out how to get to a chest that had hack silver.
Wait, Bacon. Why do we play games,
Have
Jose?
fun and get the platinum.
You play to win the game.
There are some great moments in this game. The pacing is so, in my opinion, don't clip me, ponies. The pacing is so terrible in this game where you go from such highs
not the
and
only
such
one.
good combat to then riding a yak in a swamp for 2 hours picking fruit for wolves.
yeah, it's terrible.
You're looking at paintings. It is, my God, it was the worst 2 hours I've ever had in gaming. Then I have some great fights. I have no idea. I feel like anytime I'm Atreus, I'm just like, what am I doing? Why am I Atreus?
He's gonna be the next God of War.
Funny thing is, I actually like the kid's moveset when his fights. I actually kind of like using his bow, and kid's fast and nimble and not all like hulky like his dad. But I'm gonna finish it and I'm gonna platinum it. It has gotten better since the yak experience. I'm telling you guys, it's a huge yak. You can't-
Literally.
I heard about this. I heard about this.
It is terrible. I don't know what Barlog and them were thinking. Horrible. Anyways, but then it got better. So I'm going to give it a shot. But again, every corner, you're trying to blow something up to get to a chest, and you have no idea if half of it isn't worth a crap. So it's super frustrating. The other game
So
I've been
Bacon's
playing,
loving God of War Ragnarok, you guys.
the other game I've been playing is Dead Island 2 with Dan.
Oh,
He gets on every night, makes me play it.
No, that's not true. He didn't play with me last night. He
That's
wanted
true.
to keep grinding at God of War. We've played maybe an hour of this. Because you had to do the intro by yourself for a certain amount of time before you could do co-op.
So-
we get to the house.
When I was doing it by myself, I'm like, this is terrible. When I got with Dan, I'm like, okay, this could be some fun because I see him ninja kick across the screen.
Yeah,
at
the
once.
ninja kick's the
Then
best
he goes
move in the
down.
game.
You pick up
The
whatever
gliding
weapon.
kick.
Like, it's going to be fun. We have room for another one.
Only
Whoever wants to
problem,
jump in and
Bacon
play
just
with us.
runs off. Just totally disappears.
Yeah,
Just goes
where are
off.
you? You're supposed to be by my side. I don't know where you're at. I'm like, this map's terrible. I don't know where you're at either, Dan.
But I
I'm just
gotta
looking
say, can I jump in here, Bacon?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
graphics in this game,
They're incredible.
it is
It's bloody
gorgeous.
mess. It is a bloody-ass
It
mess.
is gorgeous though, like the HDR in it, and I think some of that's coming from because I finally wrapped everything up with Assassin's Creed 4. Did the DLC with Bacon last night, the Freedom Cry, great DLC by the way. Even seeing that at 4K 60, but then coming to a modern game, I'm like, whoa, this game. I was like, this game's amazing looking, which is crazy. But anything else, Bacon? Sorry.
I will finish it with Dan because I like
Will we?
co-op. I like hanging out with my buddy, laughing. He yells at me when I die, and then he goes down 3 minutes later. And I gotta go revive him. I don't yell at him. He yells at me for being down.
I
Anyways,
never yelled at him, but anyway,
it's fun. We'll finish it. Probably not gonna go for the 1,000, right, Dan?
No,
Thank
God,
you.
No, you can't on that one. I thought I
then,
was too.
No, it's just for fun.
I'm into season 2 of Shrinking.
Yeah.
Chef's Kiss.
So good, dude.
And then
Yep.
I started
Monkey
watching.
Sims.
I started watching Special Forces on Hulu to see if Cam Newton can get through it. It's actually pretty decent.
Dude, I saw
and
him do
Golden
the
Tate.
helicopter
I didn't
jump.
realize Golden Tate was on there.
Yeah, Golden Tate. They're both still
Love
in it, and
Golden
there's only
Tate.
2 episodes left.
Yeah.
It might have been a spoiler. Sorry, but it's fun. But some of these people had no business being there. But Carrie Hart, a motocrosser who's married to Pink. I'm a huge fan of his because I used to be really into motocross, and seeing how well he did in it. So it's worth a watch. It's one of those things that could be running in the background while you're cleaning or doing something else. But it's pretty good. So
Nice. Dinero Primero says, thanks for spoiling the yaks, Bacon, when it comes to God of War.
You'll know
Did
when you get there.
Dinero Primero change his
did.
logo
did.
midstream? You
Dinero
dog,
Primero Designs.
Diego.
Yeah, bud.
Dinero Primero Designs. Shout out to Dinero
Are
Primero.
you an up and coming streamer? Hit this guy up. He's got some sick designs.
Well, we need his help too over
Still
here.
hasn't done our
Jose does.
rebrand.
We'll talk about that later. Logo redesign combo is in our ideas right here. It's been there probably for like 6 months. So we'll get to, just like Game of the Year Bubble Boy was supposed to have, our category is still waiting. So I don't know if we're going to get to Game of the
We'll
Year
do it this year.
2024.
We'll do it this summer. How about
Let's
it this
get a
summer?
plan
Put
for
him
this
out
year.
there.
This summer. Anyway, I'll go quickly before Jose. Completed Assassin's Creed, but what was the other game that I beat? Bacon? You were like shocked that I beat another one. Oh, Flynn, Son of Crimson. Did I tell you guys I beat that finally? I did?
I thought you did last week, or just we were playing it.
I don't remember that.
Okay, so here's my quick review on Flynn, Son of Crimson. Shout out to MKen10. He recommended this to us. I guess it was on Game Pass at 1.2, but I didn't. Sadly, the studio's closed, which is not good. Flynn, Son of Crimson on Steam. 12 hours for complete achievos. I gave it a 6 out of 10, and I'm not sure about these 8 and a 10 above scores that I was seeing. Flynn is a 2D 90s-inspired SNES platformer. The combat focused around slashing with a sword, axe, and fists with light, fire, ice, and lightning magic. I really didn't use the magic much unless it was required to stun certain enemies, but also you had to dodge using iframes to go through enemies or attacks. I enjoyed my time with the game, but nothing about it really stood out above the rest. I would recommend Blasphemous over this, but I think it would be a good intro to a platformer combat games for younger audiences. Bacon, I think you would like this game actually. It was
sounds like
fun.
you would like it.
You like Super Perils of Baking, similar. I actually did like the platforming, the combat. It just, I don't know. I 6 out of 10. It was fine, is what I would say. And
Can I
then
interrupt you real quick?
go ahead.
Eric just put in our Discord that it was in fact Joe that called you a fake gamer, so all your outrage. He even has it quoted. He went all the way
my
back
gosh.
up our list to find that. So you owe our Canadian friend an
Eric
apology.
started it. He
If
started
you
the whole
want
thing.
to
Got
make fun
Joe
of
in there
all
to
you
troll.
want. I am game with making fun of Joe. Don't get me wrong here, because all they talk about is Xbox games. But You owe Eric an apology.
All right, Eric, sorry. I'm sorry. Jose, before I throw to the other game, I started Axiom Verge chance. It's been fine. I beat the first boss. I'm like, I don't know.
Remember, it was made by one dude. Like,
Okay, yeah.
It's
And
not Metroid. It's not Castlevania, but it's really well done, I thought.
Yeah. I got to keep getting into it. Also playing Dead Island with Bacon. And really excited. Jose is probably going to stay here in a second to test this bad boy out.
Yeah.
So Call of Duty. Very
Jelly,
excited.
man.
Jose, what have you been playing?
This week, not a whole lot. Like I said, work is just real crazy this week. It was one of those weeks I've been knowing for months was going to be tough. But thankfully, last weekend, I tried to make up for it a little bit. I'd finished Silent Hill 2, the remake. I had bought it I think whenever it came out in like October, November, and I just finally got to it. I had never played it before. For the rest,
Wait, Jose, I'm pretty sure you said this last week.
I know. I said that I started it last week.
Oh,
I
you finished
beat it
Oh,
over
okay.
the weekend. It was good. Like I see why people like it. I see why it was very popular at the time.
Do you see how it could be rated so high, or were you a little lower, a little softer on it compared to like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2 remakes?
I was softer on it.
Okay.
Not because gameplay was great. Loved the gameplay. Loved the horror elements of it. It was definitely creepy.
Shout out Goose.
Like I like all that stuff a ton. It was just the story I think was drawn out, in my opinion.
Don't say anything. I haven't played
I
it.
won't say anything about the story. I think it was drawn out. For those, there's 3 endings you can get. I'm not going to spoil which ending I got, but I found out it was the most common ending, which was disappointing because I thought I was like doing all this work to get a cool ending, and it was the most common one. But it was fine. It made sense in the end. I like how they brought together some of the characters. I liked some of the boss fights because Dan makes fun of us for being boomer gamers because we are, but because I was a boomer gamer, I saved so much ammo and so much healing items that when I got to the last 2 bosses of the game, I literally was popping healing like I was a shaman, and I was just bullets after bullets, and I won first try on both of them, which I was happy about that. That was fine. Super cool. Check it out. I would recommend if you're not a horror gamer, don't waste your time. If you are a horror gamer, I would say it's probably worth
Dinero.
30 to 40. I wouldn't pay the full price.
I'm waiting for it to go on sale.
But it's good, man. I liked it a lot. Shout out to Silent Hill. Whatever the new one is going to be, I'll check it out. That's going to be cool.
You did pay half price, right?
He got it.
Didn't I send you? No, I thought I sent you the CD keys, and it was.
He did. Chance sent me the CD keys, and I picked it up for. I think I paid $50 for it. Totally fine though. Like it was well. I'm not mad that I paid $50 for it. It was great. And total time was like 14 hours, I want to say. And I did quite a bit. I did most of the stuff in the story. Then I started Spider-Man 2. Shout out to Joe, speaking of Joe, and Kyle. I helped out Kyle with the new XLR thing from my collection for him, and in return, they bought me Spider-Man 2 on PC. Shout out to them and Light. I'm having a great time with Spider-Man. Like, genuinely just having a lot of fun. In my opinion, and no disrespect, it's not anything revolutionary different than like the first Spider-Man. Fun story. I like the characters. I like that universe. And I think it was a smart job to just like keep doing what's great. It's kind of like the Switch too. You don't have to change a whole lot. I'll still love it. Just update it a little bit. So that was cool. And then the last thing, I haven't done a lot other than work, but I did start the movie Smile 2. If you ever saw the first Smile,
I did.
It was solid. Smile 2, I'm enjoying. It's definitely a little more horrifying, which I'm okay with. And I have not finished it. I'll probably do that tonight while I'm doing some more work. But yeah, that's what I've been walking this week and playing this week.
Have you gotten to Spawn yet? Venom.
Other than knowing who it is because of like the opening scene, I have not.
Yeah.
I literally just when Kraven's goons take over that like sub the first time.
Oh, okay.
And Scorpion is there. That I literally am just past that, so I'm very early in the game.
It takes a minute to get to Venom too. So
yeah.
Todd also said, finally finishing Cyberpunk 2077. Johnny Silverhand has been saddened by my choices. Not
for the first
That's
time,
what happened
Todd. Have fun,
cool.
man. Have fun.
And Todd also said, Dan needs to play games released in the last year other than Indiana Jones. Todd, don't even worry about it. I'm getting to Avowed. That's next up on my list. And then after that, I'm going to go to Banishers and Final Fantasy 16 that were generously gifted to me. So I will get to some more modern games. I just wanted to get some of the backlog over with up to Avowed. Thank God I'm not interested in all these other 50 other games coming out in February. It's absolutely insane. Guys, let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. Bacon, you're having a ball over there. What was the best food you had?
Well, I'm defending Eric's honor in our Discord because I feel
Okay.
that needs to happen. Why am I echoing? What the Anyways, I had pizza from a place called
Sully's.
Yeah.
And
It's part of the Denver Bread Company building. So good. It is not even funny. It's probably the largest pizza I've ever gotten. The slices were like, seriously, freaking huge. 2 slices filled me up. Felt like a true New York style pizza. By far the best pizza I've had in Denver. Their garlic knots were deep fried.
yeah, those looked.
Jesus.
I'm going to tell you, gentlemen, that is a pleasure. It's got a little crisp, but the inside's like super doughy. Flavor explosion. It's totally worth your time and effort and money. And then, no, they're hot food takes for me this week. It's been fairly boring, but Hamburger Helper's good. Had some of that tonight. So
Nice.
my wife was all against it, and that's what I was raised on. I'm like, oh no, you just brown the burger,
Yeah.
and it's good. So
Oh, we had Hamburger Helper at least twice a week growing up. every
Right.
week.
Love
It was-
hamburger.
Oh, I love hamburger.
Love
Okay.
it, bud.
So
Yeah.
wife's finally on board. She only gets like a box or 2 a month. It's just a quick maker. She's not going to call it a fine delicacy or anything like
Love
that. And did my
Hamburger
buzzing
Helper.
go away, by the way?
Nope.
I don't.
All right.
Actually, I don't hear anything.
Yeah, I looked into Wavelink and none of my enhancements were turned on from after the update.
Gotcha.
So my noise removal and stuff wasn't there. So all right, that's it.
Shout out to Nissa. Our peanut butter ice cream was the best food that Nissa had. Todd said, I'm making a great dip for wings and Super Bowl Sunday. Gentle Stone, try a deep fried calzone sometime. It's
my
euphoric. That sounds crazy.
That does sound good.
Todd Oxtra, my company sold Hamburger Helper. Well, that's a big mistake. Big mistake, Todd.
Missed the
Big.
boat.
That's a Saquon
Mistake.
Barkley trait.
Not so
Todd.
much.
Oh, that's Jose with the
Good one,
sports.
Jose.
I'm impressed. I'll go very quickly here. The best food I had this week was just tonight. Allie Mead. Finally, I hope she sticks with this recipe. Meatballs, boys. And here's what let me just tell you quickly the ingredients. She said ground beef, Italian breadcrumbs, onion and garlic powder. She says, I consistently like it when it has Romano cheese. She says,
Sweet.
she says that has been, I've been consistently saying milk, parsley, salt, and pepper. Incredible. And
Did she write it down this time?
yes, I just got the text. She actually responded to me. Here's the thing. But the other thing I want to shout out with sweet potato fries, the meatballs, but I decided to go full delicacy here, Bubble Boy, with my dips. I did 1 little tray of Chick-fil-A sauce, 1 little tray of the hot sriracha from Chick-fil-A, and then 1 of the sweet and spicy barbecue
Strategery.
Sweet Baby Rays. Guys, I was dipping and just all into my mouth. It was
Dip in
incredible.
heaven.
It was amazing. Those 3 sauces, the sriracha from Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A sauce, and Sweet Baby Ray's sweet and hot barbecue. Incredible meal tonight. Jose, what about you?
First off, shout out to Deja Vu because I think he and I are alone in this. He also like pineapple on pizza.
God.
Deja,
Does
I
not
love
belong.
pineapple on pizza.
Pineapple does not
Nissa,
belong.
put Deja Vu on a 5-minute timeout for putting pineapple on a pizza.
Awful.
I also
Disgusting.
asked Todd said that the Hamburger Helper hand mascot gave them the
Yeah,
finger.
get out of here. on the way out.
I asked him a great question though. I said a serious question. If he had to fight that Hamburger Helper hand, would he win in that fight? That'd be a good battle. Throw that out there.
Ooh, he does only have 4 fingers, though. I'm not sure how that's possible.
Best food I had this week. So today, shout out to my coworker Angela. She had to go home to feed her dog because we had an event at school. On the way back, she surprised all of us.
Popeyes.
You know what she got?
That chicken from Popeyes.
Which was delicious. It was a very nice treat for today because it's been a busy couple days. Also, shout out to I was working late every night this week and I had to grab something on the way home because my family had already eaten. The $9 Discovery box at Taco Bell. I was surprised. I didn't think I was going to love everything in it. I enjoyed the little dipper.
What is
taco.
it?
$9 on Taco Bell, you guys.
I've
It
spent
comes
way
with
more.
it comes with a regular taco, a Doritos Locos taco, the cinnamon twists, and then 2 of those new dipper mini burritos and dipping
It's only
sauce.
$9.
I
Those
still
are
think it's
mini?
I still think that it's overpriced. I get it. I understand, Dan. I hear you. I agree with
So
you.
the economy we're in.
But the economy, getting a meal somewhere for under $10, including the drink, I think it was solid. I enjoyed it. But the best thing I had, and it was a sleeper hit, and as much as it pains me to say, I have to shout out to Dan. I've been sneaking him over here on the sly all of this
I
episode.
looked for him. I couldn't find him.
Oh,
Where did you get those? I looked all over Safeway for
Dude,
those.
they're tasty, right,
Post
Jose?
Malone Oreos is what I just held up.
I gotta.
They're tasty.
Swirled caramel.
Walmart
Is
Plus.
it at Walmart?
They're good.
I got mine at Kroger King Supers. I had to go pick up some stuff to make a soup for my work because we had a soup night there. And I literally walked to get the cream cheese and they were stacked right there. And I was like, I'll take this as a sign. And I threw it on top of my pile. And I
What
agree,
is the
Dan.
flavor, by the way? Like, what's
Salted caramel shortbread?
Oh, that's it. That's the one.
So it's half, in case you didn't know, Dan,
Just
go check out Dan's short. I'm holding up right now.
Let's show up.
So it's shortbread on
hey.
one side, it's
Mhm.
chocolate on the other
Walmart
side.
Plus, man.
And then, I don't know if you can see that in the video. It's like swirled caramel and then
It's good.
like a thing. There's something about them. That Post Malone, he's a rascal. Man, I like his style.
I think that's why I couldn't find them because I called them the 2 Chains Oreos. That might have been
The
one.
2 Chains.
I couldn't remember who made them, but damn, those look
It's been a good week of
Good.
food.
Well,
I'm happy to hear
yeah,
that, Jose.
it helps when you know the name.
It
Because
does.
speaking of which, De Niro, maybe you don't have a Long Horse Steakhouse in your city because there's no such thing. It's called Longhorns.
That's
Maybe
fair.
that's why you can't seem to
Yeah, Dinner
find-
Pro said my wife and I got a Long Horse Steakhouse gift card on Christmas, and we realized we don't even have one where we live.
Nobody does. That's not a real
That's a
restaurant.
Colorado thing, isn't it?
I don't know.
There's long
Maybe.
horses.
I would
there's,
assume it's a Texas thing, Longhorn or Texas.
Longhorns, yeah.
there's long
Yeah.
horses here for sure.
Go look at the card, De Niro. I need to
Oh,
know
God. Deja Vu also said
got
the
the name.
spicy bear chicken strips from Costco is money. Todd said Costco frozen pre-fried wings are the goat. Air fry them, then coat with flavor. Nissa loves the Tyson garlic parmesan wings. Todd Oxford, Post Malone adds a dose of vape in every cookie. Dude, I have to say,
Malone's a
whenever
gamer.
I got to shout out Post Malone, I'm not like a
He's a
big
gamer.
fan of his music. I think that one song that for in circles, is that what it's called? I think that's
Country
very
music's pretty
catchy.
good.
His
I,
country music's
I got to
great.
give him
solid.
credit. Whenever I see him, he is so kind to anybody, any fan that ever
And he's
talks
just
to
happy
him.
to
He
be
is
there, brother.
exactly, dude. He is. I have to shout him out. He is so absolutely kind and thankful, and shows nothing but respect. And like Jose said, he's just happy to be here. And every clip I see, he's just the nicest guy ever. So shout out
It's
to
a Skyrim sound.
Shout out to
too.
Post Malone. I'm gonna buy another box of those cookies for you, Posty. I'm gonna do that. Chance, what was the best food you had?
Yeah, Chiba Hut. We had Chiba Hut on Wednesday. Is that a Colorado thing?
Yes,
I know.
where
I
Colin
think
started, I think.
okay, but I don't know if they have them other places. If you don't know, Chiba Hut's a sandwich company, and every one of their subs is named after a different kind of marijuana.
Oh,
And
saucy.
yeah, I got the Cali Mist on Wednesday
wanna
because it's
ditch
National
weed?
School Counselor Week. So shout out to all the ladies
Shout
at
out.
Gateway School Counselors.
It is national. I forgot. Congratulations,
Yeah,
buddy.
I hope you bought something for your counselors, Jose.
Oh yeah, I paid for Moose Hill Cantina for lunch on Monday.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
I love the counselors.
So the Cali Mist is like it's got all the jalapenos and all the hot sauce and stuff. It was awesome, and it wasn't too hot. What I appreciate, they don't pickle their jalapenos, so it was like straight grab a jalapeno and start
Yes.
slicing it. So
Nice.
yeah, and I like a good pickled jalapeno, but when they pickle them, they lose all their heat.
Yeah, no, that's not the way to go. Fresh
So.
diced jalapeno for me. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to you guys. Gentlemen, this has been the Nerd Chat episode 197. Yeah, if we could just bring Battlefield back, that would be great. My name is Daddy Diwali. You can follow me at Daddy Diwali across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat Podcast. Check out our hot and spicy, juicy shorts that Jose has been putting up over on YouTube. I got to do a better job of putting them to Instagram. I promise I will. Shout out to the chat. You guys have been great. Great discussions all around. We were talking about Battlefield, Dragon Age, Mass Effect live service games, and the death of single player, Capcom Spotlight, and tariffs and video games. Of course, all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
You can find me Chipotle Bear everywhere. My content's been a little light this week because of work, but what I will use my time to say, other than thank you for being here and for chatting, shout out to Zenkai, great to see you. Shout out to see some of our old favorites every episode. Is go check out our friends, man. Luke, like I said, Luke just posted that Avowed interview. That's
I listened to that. Dang it! I should have shouted that out. I listened to all of it. Shout out to Luke
and shout out to Jam Pack Sam, dude. That I think I put a lot of shorts out. Sam,
dude, he
freaking shame, dude.
Dude. It's crazy.
And I didn't get to listen to Trophy Room this week because I was working at a school event.
You didn't miss anything.
I'm sure it was great because
I got to interrupt you. Bacon and I were there the whole time, and those frauds over at the Trophy Room were completely ignoring us. Every comment didn't even acknowledge us the whole show. I was there the whole time.
I'll give you a guess what they talked about.
Can you also point out that literally the day before we put out a short slamming them? Just want to throw that out.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
They were talking about Xbox games and how excited they were to play Xbox games on PlayStation because PlayStation has no games. They only brag about playing Xbox games.
Fans in the chat asked if they're going to get custom PlayStation controllers based on Xbox IP. That's how bad they're down right now. That they want
Forza and Starfield dual senses.
That's what they want. Not games from Sony, mind you. They want custom controllers.
We got to shout out. Todd was there, and Todd was getting very depressed. Yeah. He was very upset with PlayStation over there. So shout out to Todd.
Also, shout out to Todd. Secret Fans Unite. Todd said Companion review over there. I want to see Companion. Looks like a great movie. Shout out to Todd. So thanks, everyone. Go play games this week, bud.
X-Bacon Gaming. Where can people find you?
I want to start by saying I want to apologize for any offense I've made to any PlayStation fanboys. PlayStation is the winner, clearly, and the best. It beats my PC in every way. I love all PlayStation games. Don't clip me, please. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter, getting clipped and not happy about it. But I don't have any hot takes this week, so I think I should survive. And thanks for tuning in, chat. You guys are awesome.
Bubble Boy and Seven, anything you want to say before this stupid ass Super Bowl?
You can find me at The Farm, which is the nickname we give to my parents' house. We have been there every year. We've watched the Super Bowl there. The Chiefs have won.
Oh, no.
Doing that again. And I just can't wait to see them three-peat.
It's not going to happen.
Nope.
As always, Broncos country. There's always next year.
Let's ride.
Let's ride and see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
Let's ride.
Let me ask you something. When you come in on Monday and you're not feeling real well, does anyone ever say to you, sounds like someone has a case of the Mondays?
No. No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
The Nerd Chat is an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat Podcast across all social media. The show was created by Daniel Walenzik, and you can follow him at Daddy D. Wally. Co-host and producer Jose Martinez III can be found at Chipotle_Bear. Former intern, now co-host Jason Jarrett can be found at XBaconGaming. And former co-host, now returning intern, Chance Siegel can be found at Bubbleboy and 7. If you'd like to find out more about the show, please visit nerdchatmedia.com. And as always, see you online.